Everyone's affected by mental health. If you're not solely suffering, chances are you know someone. And the people who need this treatment the most can't afford to wait any longer. I'm John, and I was the first study participant in an NYU Langone clinical trial treating alcohol use disorder with psilocybin-assisted therapy. Being treatment resistant going into this trial and having tried everything, from rehab to pharmaceuticals, nothing worked. I knew that this treatment might not get approved, and this might be my only shot at this.
In all, there were 93 participants. More than 80% who were given the psychedelic treatment drastically reduced their drinking. 48% were completely abstinent 8 months after receiving their first dose.
Do you ever have a day where you wake up and you're like, man, I wish I could have a vodka right now or a beer?
Never.
Not at all?
Not at all. I'll get calls, really throughout the day and night. Most of the time, the people reaching out are not the ones that need to seek treatment themselves. They're concerned about a loved one, and the individual that needs the treatment is in such bad shape that they can't do any of this on their own right now.
In 2006, Jonathan Lubecki tried to take his own life.
I put a loaded 9mm to my temple and I pulled the trigger. That was the first suicide attempt that I had. I've had a total of 5.
After his last attempt in 2013, the Iraq war veteran began participating in a clinical trial of MDMA.
This therapy is the sole reason that my son has a father instead of a folded flag.
This is a public emergency. The demand is too high. We are in the middle of the worst crisis we've ever faced as a country.
The whole point of these medicines, MDMA and psilocybin, is because they work so differently, and they're about the only drugs that are really there to enhance psychotherapy. They can treat things that are not treatable right now with current medications and therapies.
My focus for about a dozen years has been high-quality university research, and now leading to a potential FDA approval. But it does need seed money. For John to put together Apollo Pact and put together a congressional caucus, all these things unless are done by government money. So it's the NIH. So I applaud John for figuring out what the next step is and being involved in helping to make it happen.
This is a historic caucus. Congressman Lou Correa from Orange County, Democrat, Jack Bergman, a Republican from Michigan, have come together to form a bipartisan caucus to educate members of Congress, try to get more funding, because right now these clinical trials are privately funded. They're not publicly funded.
And we're at a turning point now because we've funded all these big studies like the one John was in. There is evidence of efficacy, and that needs to be fleshed out in much larger studies. And so NIH is ideally suited to that because they can do those big studies, but they've only funded 2 studies so far.
Think of all the people that are suffering from either substance use or depression or PTSD, and then think about the tens of people that love them, that are close to them, and how they're affected. It's not just one person that's suffering.
The ripple effect of curing these people is astronomical, and that's the kind of work that John will do, because I know he's now engaging with professionals to come up with the statistical analysis of how much money the government will save.
But talking to those people, they were gonna kill themselves, they had no life, they were tormented by their memories, and they would say, I'm cured, I don't have PTSD, I have no symptoms now. I'm a happy person and a functional person. That's just miraculous. I know how difficult and how long it takes to recover from that kind of trauma, and to see people that recovered, in a matter of weeks or 3 or 4 months from a completely debilitating condition it's just, I feel incredibly grateful to be part of something that can do that.